As you may know already, the goal of this channel is to help international students get the opportunity to study in the US on full scholarships, help them pass their visa interviews, and when they arrive in the US, help them survive and thrive. I have been in the US for the past 8 years and I have seen a lot and I have also heard a lot. In this video, we are going to hear from an incredible person who helps international students to get their green cards using the school route, which is the EB-2 NIW. If you don't know what this is about, don't worry, he will explain everything to us. If you already know this is an option for you to get your green card, Rich is going to provide us with all the information that we need. I'm really excited about this video. To help the channel, consider liking the video to let me know that you like content like this. Also, consider subscribing and sharing the video. It means a lot to me. Alright, let's get started. Hi Rich, welcome to my channel. I know there are so many green card options, such as getting married to an American citizen, winning the lottery, and being sponsored by your employer on an H-1B visa. I mean, some of these options are kind of very difficult, like the lottery, it's not easy for someone to win the lottery. And the marriage also has its own issues and all of that. In your opinion, do you think the EB-2 NIW is the best and the safest option for F-1 students who want to get their green cards in the US?
Yeah, thank you for hosting me on your platform, Shaibu.
You're welcome.
Yeah. When it comes to route to permanent residence, I think people have different options and people have different level of risk they want to take to go this route. And people genuinely find their love, meaning they can go through the marriage route. So it depends on which route people want to go. But personally, and in my experience and exposure, talking to a lot of people, one of the best routes out there is going through the EB-2 National Interest Waiver route, which is the safest, like you mentioned, and also something that you do not need an employer sponsorship. So we can go into more details about it, but I think it's one of the best options out there. And if you are an international student in the US here, you haven't considered that as a backup plan, I think you should right now because it's the best time to do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about that. But before that, I want to get to know you a little bit. So you completed KNUST in 2015, right? I think that was the same time I also completed UCC. I went to do economics. What about you? What did you study at KNUST?
Oh, that's nice. You went to UCC. I came to UCC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in UCC. I came to visit a friend. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
But I really loved economics. I wanted to do economics, but unfortunately, I got admission to go study actuarial science. I studied actuarial science for my bachelor's.
Wow. And your study abroad journey, when did it begin?
Study abroad journey began somewhere in 2016, but I officially came to the US in 2017. So I did get admission to the US in 2016, got full funding, but I had to defer because I loved what I was doing back home. I was working in the bank. They were paying me good money. So I'm like, I need one more year and make money. So it's my official journey began in 2017 when I moved here.
That's actually strange because for a lot of people, including myself, as soon as we got the offer, we were just happy to leave. So that's amazing. Yeah. And so when you came to the US, what did you come to study and where did you go? Which university gave you the admission?
So yeah, I came to Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville. It's in the southern part of Chicago. Because anytime you mention Illinois, the first thing that comes to people's mind is, oh, Chicago. Illinois is a very big state with so many students and so many schools. So yeah, I came to Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville to study statistics. So I specialize in statistics and operation research, and I also did market research. So you can see I did concurrent masters here in the US, specifically in Southern Illinois, finishing 2 masters in 3 years.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I actually live in DeKalb, which is so I'm very close to Chicago. Yeah, so yeah, like you said, anytime people hear Illinois, it's like, hey, Chicago. So that's true. Yeah, and so you came in 2017, which means you graduated in 2020, right?
Yeah, I graduated in 2020. That is correct.
And then you started working. Where did you start working?
So when I was in school, I was fortunate to get a 1-year full internship with a company called Sentin Corporation. It's in Missouri, St. Louis. So that was where I got my job right after school. So
wow.
I did concurrent masters. So my second masters, as part of the program, you have to do an internship. Like it's more like a school year till you finish school. So that gave me an opportunity to combine what I was studying plus my statistics background and then real life experience at the job. Once I finished, I already had the connections in there. And they're like, hey, we have an opening, come join us. Like, okay, I'm looking for it.
That's amazing.
So I did not apply for jobs because I was very confident in working for the company.
Wow. And how many years did you spend there?
Exactly 1 year.
Why did you leave?
And as an international student, so this is where the story begins, right? When you are in school, you don't think about your permanent residence. You don't think about the long term of, okay, I want to stay in the US, so what are the options for me? And I think that was I had started quite a little bit of my process, but I was deeply committed to finding a company to kind of sponsor me. So I remember before I joined the company, when I got the offer, I signed the offer. The recruiter came back like, "Hey, quick question, we forgot to ask you. Do you need sponsorship?" I'm like, "Oh no, I'm fine. I don't need sponsorship, right? So don't worry about it." And then I joined the company, and just about the time where there was an open enrollment for H-1B, I spoke with my manager. Like, hey, I think I need sponsorship.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we are sorry. First of all, you told us you need sponsorship. Secondly, there's restructuring going on, so we don't think we can do it for you. I mean, honestly, the company does H-1B for international students, but in my area, they were just giving me stars. I'm like, okay, all good. Time to move out. So I just moved out just like exactly 1 year when I joined the company. So that was the reason why, basically because of sponsorship.
Wow. So your program was a STEM program. That's why you moved out. You moved to another company, right?
Yeah, it was a STEM program. So that's the advantage of having the STEM program.
Wow.
You have the option to work 3 years in the US. So yeah, that gave me that kind of flexibility to do what I want to do.
Wow, that's amazing. And you have your green card now. When did you start the process, and what made you start? Like, I mean, I already have an idea of why you decided to start the process, but when did you start?
Yeah, so here is a story about the whole EB-2 journey, and maybe you might have questions about the myth, but when I came to the US,
what you can also explain what the EB-2 is about. Like, what is it? What is the whole EB-2 about?
Yeah. So anybody hearing me right now, so in the US, we have employment-based visa category. So what it means is you have to be employed to be able to get your green card, in the US, basically to get your permanent residency in the US. As part of the employment-based visa category, we have a special category called the National Interest Waiver. What it means is you don't need a job offer to use this route to get your permanent residency. And what that means is you can actually self-petition. You can do it by yourself. In the EB-2 route of process, it goes through a series of processes, and one of them is the PEM certification or the labor certification. What that means is if I employ you, Shaibu, as, let's say, whatever field you are in, data science, whatever, right? If I want to sponsor you for green card, in the US immigration, they have to make sure they don't have anybody who is a permanent residency and have the same skill set and can fill the role. Because what that means is we already have the internal resources. Why are you going to bring an internal resources to fill this? That is the same process. They basically post the job that you are currently occupying out there for a certain number of months. I believe 6 to 9 months. And then if anybody does not come out to apply, and that person should have the same skill set, should qualify for the job, and should be able to do the job effectively as you are doing. If nobody comes out to do it, then the company can go ahead and continue with the green card process for you. That is if you go the normal EB-2 route, which is the employment-based visa category route. With the NIW, because you don't need an employer, and also the most important thing is the PEM process is waived off. So it makes it faster for you to get your green card, and it makes it more flexible and a very risk-free. Basically, for company, because there's no company involved, nobody can fire you as you go through this process because it happens a lot. So that was the whole idea. That is the whole idea about the EB-2 National Interest Waiver that I hope and people will get to understand it and do your due diligence and use this route. So for me personally, I came to the US with my family. A year after I came, my wife and my first son joined me.
Amazing.
So that gives me limited option, right? I have limited option to go. So I have to think fast. And even when I came to the US, I had friends who had mentioned this to me, that their brothers use this route. But Their brothers were in PhD programs. They had a lot of citations. Anybody you talk to is like, oh, PhD citation, PhD citation. So to me, in my mind, I'm like, damn it, I don't qualify.
Yeah.
So until when I was about finishing school, I started reading more aggressively about it. A friend of mine, we went to tech together. The husband had actually used this route to get his permanent residency. And so he advised me, oh, talk to my husband, he actually, although he had PhD, he was in the PhD program and he did not have any publication, neither certification. So when I spoke with him, he opened my eyes. I did a lot of research. I'm like, oh, I can do it. So I became very conscious about the path and the steps I took. So for example, I began to network like crazy for people within my space, knowing for sure in few months I would go to them like, hey, give me a recommendation. I also began actively and consciously doing all the things that would make me qualify, like writing certifications, doing publications. At that time, I had no idea I wanted to publish my master's thesis. But because of this process, I'm like, what is the safest route to do it? Let me do it. And another good thing that I always recommend people to do, for me, because I graduated in the era of COVID, everything was online. So what I did was I posted my Zoom link to my defense online on LinkedIn, and I had like about 50 to 60 people randomly. I did not know anybody join my presentation, and most of them were people who were passionate and interested in what I was doing. And so that also gave me a different level of network, and it really helped me in my application. So basically, I started this application in 2020, and I was able to finally file. It took a long. I actually began the application in 2022. And I technically filed in 2023. My date is.
It's understandable.
I technically finished everything in the end of 2022, and I put in the application in April of 2023, and I got approved in the same month. In fact, a week after I had petition. So my approval process took 5 days. Yeah, it took 5 days to get approved for the I-140.
Oh, that's strange. Like that's amazing, but that's strange as well. Like, wow, I thought it takes like 6 months, before they approve it.
No, so the good thing is they have introduced premium processing. Just around the time that I was about filing. Before that, the COVID time, it was strictly, that kind of regular processing. So once I was about filing, everything had changed to premium processing. So you can get approved for your I-140 faster than. I know someone who got approved in 2 days. Someone also got approved in 3 days. So it's that kind of it's very fast. Like premium processing is fast, but it comes with a cost. If you can do it, you just go with it.
How much was that?
So premium processing is $2,805.
Wow, man.
So I paid I think I paid $2,500 when I was doing it. But this year, effective April 1st, they increased the fees. All the fees have increased. They've added a lot of fees to the whole process. So now it's $2,805. Even the regular processing have increased, and they have introduced asylum program fees. Everything is going up. Everything is going up.
And how much is the regular one?
The regular one is just $715.
Oh, okay. Wow.
But before that, it was $700, and there was no asylum program fee. But now, if you are doing it and going the regular route, you'd pay $1,150. Basically, there's an asylum fee of $300, and then the regular processing of $715. But it takes long. It's a long duration. So, yeah.
And you mentioned I-140. What is that about?
So I-140 is so technically in the EB-2 NIW route, there are 2 phases. Okay. The first phase is getting approved. Basically, you have to convince the immigration people that you deserve for them to waive off your job labor certification. Basically, that is the NIW part of the process.
Oh, okay.
And then there's the second phase, which is the Form I-485. Basically, it's the adjustment of status. Now that you have the approval, you have to change your status to a permanent residency. So those are the 2 main steps or processes involved in the EB-2 visa category for permanent residency.
Wow. And you mentioned the fact that when you got to know about the EB-2, you decided to do certain things that will make you qualify, like you publish your thesis and all of that. So what makes somebody qualified for the EB-2 as an international student?
No, that's a good question. To be honest with you, every international student, regardless of the program you are doing, qualifies to use the EB-2 NIW for your permanent residence.
Wow.
It is that simple, but in people's head, it's very complicated.
Yeah, that's what I thought actually.
No, so when you read the USCIS website about the qualifications of EB-2, what it says is to be able to use this route to secure a permanent residency, you have to have an advanced degree. That is the first criteria.
Okay.
So advanced degree basically means you should have a master's or a PhD.
Okay.
If you have a bachelor's degree in the US as an international student, the requirement is you should have 5 years of working experience.
Okay.
So bachelor's degree plus 5 years of working experience is equivalent to master's degree. That is the first part. In fact, the first part is in 2 sections. Either you have the advanced degree or you show an exceptional ability.
Okay.
Exceptional ability, according to the immigration people, defines as you having an expertise significantly above the ordinary person you encounter in your field. What it means is you should be good at what you're doing. Here's the good thing about U.S. immigration. Anytime they use words that are a little bit confusing and intimidating, because technically if I tell you, are you exceptional? Like, not. But they provide about 7 documentations to show that you have an exceptional ability.
Oh, wow.
And that is a different route altogether, and I have content on those. But
we'll talk about that.
Those are very simple documents you can prove to show exceptional ability. I think the difficult part in this process, right, is not even about whether you have an advanced degree or showing exceptional ability. The second part, basically the second part of it that is kind of the difficult part in this process, but it is doable, highly doable, is that whoever has your case or whoever takes your petition to read through should be able, based on the documents and the proofs you provide, deem that your work is of substantial merit or basically is of national importance. That is the part that is a little bit of hard to prove. But in terms of who qualifies for EB-2, every international student qualifies.
Oh, wow.
Now, the part where you have to demonstrate that your skill set or your proposed endeavor is of national importance is where it becomes tricky. But we have a lot of resources out there. I even have content showing you basically have to convince the USI. They have a law called Matter of Danhasa. It's an immigration law related to employment-based visa category. You have to meet like 3 prongs. Each of the prongs has its own documentation you need to prove. And everybody can get those documentation. I mean, you don't have to get all of them, but you can get some of it. So that is the only part that is a little bit tricky. But like I said, it's highly doable. It's all about you doing your research, going online, searching for ways you can prove all these 3 prongs. So your question, I think that is why we said it's very flexible and the safest, because technically everybody qualifies. You just have to do the due diligence to be able to use this route to go get a green card.
Wow, that's amazing. So what are the general documents that I need to petition my case?
That's a good question. So it is the document the USCIS provided is not exhaustive. Like I said, they have like 7 different documents to prove exceptional ability, but you can have more than that, and it still counts. Sometimes I always tell people the things we think they are not important, those are important. I'll give an example. In one of the interviews I had with one Nigerian lady, very good person, awesome, kind person, Esther. She was the first.
I think I watched that on your YouTube channel.
Exactly. She actually was the first person. Like, the good thing about this process is, like, every day you learn something new. Like, every day, like, When I look at Esther's profile, she has certifications in Agile certifications, PMP certifications, and other certifications. In my mind, I thought those are professional certification. Like, literally, like what I do, PMP, I have to go and sit down and write like 2 hours, whatever exams. Literally, she just went on Udemy and got those certifications. She was so conscious about the fact that she wanted to use this route. So even the courses she took in school and everything she did was calculated. And that is what I advise national students to do. Don't just take random courses. Take calculated courses that would help you in the long run. Even if it is not for immigration, it is for your work. And so that is what Esther did. So that is what I'm saying. Even the list of documents USCIS provide is not really exhaustive. But I'll give you like some few examples. The first one is you having an official transcript or diploma certification. This is very easy to prove, right? Because as long as you have the advanced degree, When you are done with school, as long as you don't have like fail or whatever, you will get a transcript for it. You'll get a certificate to prove that. You also have to have a proof of license to practice. So, for example, if you come here as a medical doctor to practice, you should have a license that shows you have an exceptional ability. If you don't have a license, you should have a certificate in your profession. Because, for example, if I take let's take like cloud analytics, I take any of the AWS courses, let's say machine learning specialty exam, it sets me apart. It just shows the level of expertise I have in my field. So if you don't have a license to practice, you should have a certificate in your profession. That is why Esther was conscious about, getting those certificates, because it creates that kind of impression. You have that kind of expertise. Aside from that, if you have, what do we call it, like patent, which a lot of international students may not have, others may have, that is also a very good case. Also, I know I mentioned this process does not require an employer or like a job. You don't need a job actually to use this route. But if you have a job, it is also a testament to the fact that a US company saw Shaibu like, hey, I love your skill set, I need you. So that is like just telling you, basically, you have the skill set to contribute to the country, and that is why you are in the US. So if you are employed, it's a big plus for you, because then you can show your salary, because part of it is also show salary in this process of this document. If your salary is way above the average, which I think now a lot of international students, once you graduate, you earn decent salary, which is above the average in your field. That is also something that would be a plus for you. If you've done anything in the media that was captured, that is also good. Volunteer jobs, that are also good. Anything that you are not taking away from the US, you are adding to the US, is good. Like those kind of volunteer jobs, I think it's a great way to demonstrate exceptional ability as well. So yeah, those are just few documents, and then I have like detailed documents in some of the content I've created. People can watch it, and then if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those.
So, as a teaching assistant, does that count as a job or not?
Of course. So, another thing about hosting live web, like talking points with people who have gone through the process. I had one interview with a very good friend of mine. We went to the same senior high school, Danny Texan, and he mentioned as part of his petition, actually something that was very beneficial in his case was the fact that I know when you're a teaching assistant, at the end of the semester, your students would, what does it call it?
Evaluation.
Exactly. He actually used that as part of it. So teaching assistant is a very good thing. Yep. So, like I said, the little things that we think are not very impactful, they are really impactful. Really, really impactful. Yeah.
So yeah. When should I start with the process?
That's a good question. I always recommend you have to first of all determine your eligibility. Even though I said you qualify to use this route, that is 100%. But especially if you want to go the route of immigration attorneys, you want to make sure you and the attorneys are in alignment. So basically, I'm saying, oh, Rich, I think I can go this route and get my green card. But an attorney is like, oh, no, wait for some time, do A, B, C, D. Then it means I cannot continue. So the first step in this process, which I have a content on, is do like profile evaluation. Basically, what profile evaluation means is you reach out to attorneys, give them information, they'll review your information and come back and be like, oh, Shaibu, I think based on the information you provided, you have a strong case. Let's go ahead and start the process. So that is the first step. Reach out to immigration attorneys, and it is free. You don't have to pay money for profile evaluation. If any lawyer or any immigration attorney is charging for profile evaluation, please. There are tons out there that is free. And I have a list of lawyers. You can use them to do your profile evaluation. The advantage of it is that some of them are very good and thorough and detail-oriented. So if they say, Shaibu, I think that you don't have a case right now, but in the future you might have a case. Do A, B, C, D. Now they have given you what to do to make sure next time you reach out to them, you have a good case. So which is an advantage of doing the evaluation. So I always recommend profile evaluation is your first step. Do profile evaluation and see where you stand. So once the attorney says, okay, you have a good case, then you decide, okay, looking at the cost involved in going the immigration attorney versus me doing it by myself, which option is the best? If you want to go with an immigration attorney, know that there's extra cost involved. If you want to do it by yourself, know that there's also extra advantages and disadvantages involved. But once you have the stamp of an immigration attorney, it gives you the confidence. So whether you want to go by the immigration or do it yourself, you have the confidence that, oh, if the immigration attorney is saying my case is good, I can go ahead and do it by myself. And that is where some of my friends who did it by themselves, they did. They reach out to an immigration, they give them the stamp like, okay, I'm not paying you, I'll do it by myself. So evaluation, and then you decide whether you want to go immigration attorney or you want to do it yourself. Those are the basic steps here.
Yeah, you talked about these things, the pros and cons of using a lawyer in one of your videos. So what will you recommend, to anybody? Like, do you think going with a lawyer is better, like immigration attorney is better, or doing it alone by yourself,
Everybody has a different opinion on this.
Yeah, but what is your opinion?
No immigration attorney, but people be like, oh, if you're here, do it by yourself. I think here is a fact, right? It depends on you and it depends on the situation. I think, in my personal opinion, and talking to a lot of people and reading about it, if you have the money, you have the resources, and you want your peace of mind, and you don't want any stress in this process, go with an immigration attorney. If you have the time and you don't have the resources, and you think you can take the risk, do it by yourself. Now, understand that even if you are doing it by yourself or you are going with an immigration attorney, you will still do a work. If you go with an immigration attorney, you are part of the process. Think about it this way. I don't know you. You want me to do something for you. You have to provide me with all the information I need, quality information, to be able to petition for you. So you will also be doing some work in this process. But the advantage here of using an immigration attorney is because they have done like a lot of petitions similar to your case, you are rest assured. In fact, some of the immigration attorneys will give you money back guarantee. What that means for you, and that depends on your the level of confidence they give you. Because, for example, with my case, they were 95% confident I will get approved, and so they gave me money back guarantee that, hey, if I don't get your case for you, I'll give you back your money. So to me, I'm like, okay, there's no risk here, right? There's no risk for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is, when they give you the guarantee, you know for sure no immigration attorney likes RFE, and no immigration attorney wants like that kind of stain on their reputation. Meaning, I don't want to get like denial, and it's going to affect you. So they work very hard to get you approved. That's a good thing. Go ahead, ask question.
Yeah. So did you use an immigration attorney?
Yep, I used an immigration attorney for my process. That was way before I really understood. Like, I started this process gradually in school. By the time I was done, I think I would have made headway. But I used immigration attorney because one, my peace of mind, and two, I had the resources to do it. So I'm like, okay, let me do it. That was fine. Yeah.
And on average, how much does it cost to employ the services of an immigration attorney?
So for the first part, like I told you, for the approval of the I-140, you would need on average $6,000. On average. You can go as high as 10,000, 12,000, 15,000. I'm not kidding you. That sounds like a lot of money, but just look at the pros and cons, right? Me personally, with a family, I think I'd rather go with that and have that kind of peace of mind and assurance because, I have people looking up to me to make sure we have the security and we have the peace in this country. So I'll go with an immigration attorney. And especially, if you are working in the US, I think, you should be able to do it. But the good thing is most of the attorneys don't take the money up front. Like, it's not like, pay me the 6,000, assuming the activities will be like, pay me the no. They spread it out for you. So I know for me, it was, I don't remember, but I know I paid like 1,200, 1,500 to start a process, and I just kept paying every month. One immigration attorney, they will spread it over for 12 months. So meaning, if they are charging you 6,000, you'll be paying $500 every month. So you are done. So they understand this whole thing. So they are not really strict when it comes to money. That is the first part. If you want to use an immigration attorney for the second part, which I highly recommend, do not, because the second part is very easy. It's all about filling forms. You can find resources online, and I'll put the content on filling form I-485. It's very simple, so you don't have to use an immigration attorney. But the first part is the most important part, and that is where you spend on average 6,000.
Wow. Yeah, you've mentioned, a few times about the fact that you create content and all of that. It's something I will ask you more about. But then you created a video about 5 myths regarding the EB-2 NIW. Can you mention what they are?
Yeah. So like it's just my own experience, and anytime, and I do consulting as well. Anytime I consult with people, even was it yes? No, today I spoke with somebody from France. Basically, before I even forget, even if you are outside of the United States, you can use
Yeah.
this route to gain your permanent residency.
Oh, wow.
So it's not only
I
for
never
people,
knew that. Oh,
it's not only
okay.
for people in the US. It's not only
Mm,
for people in the US. No, when you're outside of the US, you can also use it, and it's actually cheaper doing it from outside the country than when you're in
ah,
the US. It's very funny, but no.
wow.
So yeah, I was consulting with somebody from France today, and we were discussing the same thing, right? I mean, there's a whole lot of myth out there.
Mm,
My experience talking to a lot of people, it's like, okay, the same thing. Let me put it out there. So
mm,
number one, like I told you, when I
yeah.
came, like to be able to use EB-2 NIW to get your green card, you have to be a PhD student and have a lot of citations. And I
That's
found
not
out
true,
it's
right?
not true because I went through
Okay.
the process myself. I have a lot of people who have gone through the process themselves without having
Mm,
PhD, and it is not
wow.
true. So
Mm,
that is one of the myths out there that you should have a PhD. It is not true. You should have many citations. It is not true.
mm,
That does not mean having a PhD is bad or having a
yeah.
citation is bad. It just means that is not the only way to show that your proposed endeavor or whatever you are doing in the US is of national importance. There are
Mm,
many ways to show. If you
yeah.
have it, it's a big plus for you. I always say if you have PhD, you have a big advantage here. But if you
Mm,
don't have it, it doesn't stop you from using this route to secure
yeah.
your permanent residency.
Mm,
And you also mentioned, it's also about, excuse me, you being like smart or something. You don't have to be smart to use this process.
mm,
As long as, because the requirement is have an official academic transcript. They don't
mm.
care. They don't review like you
The
had B.
GPA.
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no. Have just show a proof you have the advanced degree. So it's
Mm,
not only for smart people, regardless of what you got, you can use this route to secure your permanent residency.
mm,
Another thing that is out there about some of the myth has to do with having like a job. This is something that does not require an employer.
mm,
You don't need a job sponsorship. So meaning
mm,
you can use this route to secure your permanent residency. And one thing that is also very predominant when it comes to the confusion about this is people, especially doing their PhD, wants to finish school before
ah,
the process.
uh-huh.
And I know it's not I know one person, two, three. I know so many people who started this route when they started their PhD. As a matter of fact, one very good friend of mine, I mean, I know a lot of Nigerians, they don't want to use this route. But the people called me yesterday, it's like, hey, Rich, I got my green card last month. I'm like, I already figured. And Bolutufe started this process in his first year in his PhD program. And he
Oh,
did psychology, by the way, and he used it. So what it means is you don't have to finish school before you use this route. If you are doing your PhD, you are doing your master's, start the process. Like just start. The most important is you starting because it takes a little bit of time gathering your documents, through all those
yeah.
processes to getting your green card. So start the process.
Oh,
And you can always tell people when you come to the US, whenever you hear an information, just don't take it like that. Ask until you are comfortable that this is the right answer. So if
mm,
people are saying the same thing over and over and over and over, then it means it is a genuine information. If different people are saying different things, keep searching until you find a lot of people saying the same thing. Even with that
mm,
one, do a lot of due diligence to come into conclusion. So that is some
yeah.
of the things around us international students that we are not good at doing. We
Mm.
just take information at hand, we run by it, which is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last year I was in this WhatsApp group and somebody posted, like a screenshot of someone who had been denied EB2. And so why do you think people are, some people are denied, and if a person is denied, is there like an appeal, and if not, what can the person do? Is it over for the person?
No, no, it's not. Nothing is over for anybody in the US. That's one
Mm,
thing good about this country.
mm,
The fact that you've been denied does not mean you cannot go back and do it again. There are a whole lot of factors that would cause denial. So first of all, understand that regardless of a lawyer saying you have a good chance of getting approved, there is a probability of you being denied.
wow.
But if you are denied, you can appeal it. It's not really appeal. You can petition again and resubmit your
Mm,
proposal.
oh,
I know it's not like everything I say in the content I create is like I have experience, like real life experience, and I have
mm,
direct exposure, meaning I have
mm,
good friends who went through this route.
yeah.
Friend of mine got denied, and then basically she got denied because she was using the wrong attorney. The attorney was not good
Oh,
at what he does. So all she did was she just switched an attorney, and she got approved. So what that means is if you get denied, maybe it might be time to reconsider the attorney you are using. If the attorney is those people who are still good and they got denied, don't worry, they'll figure a way to get you out of it. So denial is common. Remember the approval rate for EB-2 has fallen a little bit slightly. It's around like 80-85-ish%.
That's really high.
It's exactly the point. It's really, really high because compared to H1B, it's less than 10%. So it's still really, really high, meaning at least there's some few percentage of denial. What definitely causes denial is one main thing. It means whoever is reviewing your petition does not see any impact your proposed endeavor is going to create in the US. That is basically it. And so there is denial and then there's RFE. RFE is request for evidence. If somebody gets an RFE, it's a whole lot of factors. Most of the time, it's like they just need extra information to decide whether it makes sense to grant you the NIW.
Okay.
Other times, it might be like when you were filling the forms, you did not fill a space. Like for example, one of my friends, for his job classification on the I-140 form, he forgot to fill it, and so they gave him an RFE like, "Hey, bro, you forgot something. We're doing," and he got approved. Once he filled it, he got approved. And the same for the request for evidence. If you provide the evidence and they are convinced, you get approved. So that is a different thing. If you get denied, your lawyer or attorney immigration can petition again. So it's not over. Keep doing it until you get it. Yeah. What it means is just change the strategy. If you feel like, in fact, your proposed endeavor is not making sense, maybe it's time to bring in more documentations, find a new way to improve the wordings in how you are presenting your case, and then you should be fine. So you can just keep going. Don't worry. Just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned change of strategy. As soon as you said it, something came to mind. There are some students that I coach, and this guy went for the interview. He's a Nigerian, but he lives in Dubai. He went for the interview, I think last month, and he was denied. And so he went again with a different strategy, and he was approved today. So like when you said it,
good news. Yeah, good news.
Yeah, it came to mind. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Suppose I just got to the US, okay, and I want to have my green card. What advice will you give me?
First of all, understand it's a process. I know when you are coming. When you tell somebody something, it's like no, it's a process, it's a journey. Right now, given the current landscape in the EB-2 NIW space, it could take about 2 to 3 years to get your green card. I'm not saying it to scare you. I'm saying this so you can take the action now and start the process now.
Okay.
Because like there's backlog and they have to clear backlogs, and I anticipate because now you have a lot of people talking about EB-2 NIW, meaning people are now becoming aware of it, and a lot of people are using it to get their green card. It's a process. When you come to the US, in as much as you're focusing on your education, like I mentioned, just be intentional about all the things you do. Be intentional about the classes you take. I know most of us when we come, even like on campus, I know we have like students organizations that we can be a part of and actively participate and be like leaders or whatever. We don't. We just come through, take our classes, and we are done. Just because for the sake of your green card and knowing that all of these things matters, just make sure you involve yourself in some of these organizations. When you're on campus, professional, and I forgot to mention professional bodies as part of the requirement. You have to be part of a professional body. When you're on campus,
what do you mean by that?
So professional association or professional bodies, being a member is like, for example, if you're a chemist student, they have an association for chemistry students. If you have like mathematics, they have American
Mathematics Association or something.
Mathematics Association. I think it's actually American Statistical Association, ASA. Okay. Actuarial science, they also have the same thing. Project managers they have. So be a part of these organizations because that would also help you in your case. In fact, some of the attorneys will ask you, are you part of any professional body? If you are not, they'll recommend you to go and be a part of it. When you're on campus, it's way cheaper. I think it's even like half the price or maybe like a quarter of the price that you pay when you're done with school. So these are the times you have to focus on all of these and proactively be a part of. And any other thing you have to do to ensure that before you finish school, at least you have all of the documentations ready. And even if you want to do it by yourself, you can start doing it gradually. By the time you're done with 2 years, your petition is ready to file. So that is just my advice for them. It's a process. They should understand it's a process, but they should be very conscious about all the strategies and all the steps they take when they're in the US. Wishing the final thing or the final goal in mind.
Yeah. You have a YouTube channel called America Dream Guide, and I will leave the link in the description of this video. So why did you start the channel, and what do you really talk about?
Yeah, that's a good question. So
Mm,
I'm very passionate about helping people understand that, it's not all about because when we come, it's all about we are getting our H1B and then the
yeah,
company will work for us. Or we can, okay, we'll get married, but not everybody can get married.
yeah,
Or those kind of means. So for me, the passion stems from the fact that, oh, but there's an easy route to get your green card. Why are people stressing over employer? So why
uh,
don't I create this channel? Because technically, I know there are channels out there talking about it, but I don't see the passion with which people
yeah,
attach to it. So
mm,
I'm like, well, let me use my experience and the experience
yeah,
of others to communicate to people. Like,
oh,
there is an easy route. I mean, there is a
mm,
safe route to actually get your green card.
yeah,
So that is how come I started this channel.
mm,
Funny story. When I started the channel, I'm like, let me just do one. I don't know if you saw my first video. My first channel was like I did like a webinar, like 1 hour webinar
mm,
session. And that was my intention was just to do one video. Honestly, I just did not want to be. I don't have the
yeah,
time.
but there is so much to talk about.
Exactly. When I was done, I got so many positive feedback. I'm like, okay, maybe I should
Yeah,
think about this and be sharing a little bit more about it, and then
yeah,
sharing people's experience as well. So
mm,
that's how come I created this, and I have interesting topics, interesting content that I'll be uploading going
amazing.
forward.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm looking forward. If anybody has
yeah,
questions, they
yeah.
can reach. Happy to
Yeah,
answer them.
if you're watching this video, please make sure you subscribe. It's very important.
Oh
If
yeah,
you create content, the more people subscribe, the more you are encouraged to create more. So, like you, for instance, you have so much to share. Like I've watched a lot of your videos, and yeah, it's really amazing. Like I have heard about this, but I just never paid attention. And what
yeah.
I've even heard today alone, man, it's amazing. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No,
eh,
thank you. Thank you for the
yeah,
subscription piece. I think, yeah,
yeah,
that is a big motivation for us.
yeah, yeah,
For me personally, I want to get to a point where I have a bigger base.
yeah,
That way, I can be able to negotiate on their
yeah,
behalf for
yeah,
their attorneys. I'm looking
yeah.
forward to go directly to the immigration attorneys,
Oh.
like, hey, I have this group of people within my
Mm.
network. They want to use this route. I
Oh,
know you said they qualify. This is how much we
oh,
can do.
yeah.
Or at least if they are not, we can have like a payment plan. Because the truth
Mm,
of the matter is, and I've been doing it, but nobody's paying attention to me because like,
mm,
man, you don't
yeah.
have you go with them
It's
and
one
like,
of those things like sometimes the people who create the better content, they are not pushed because the social media, space is based on algorithm, and sometimes your thumbnails, your title, it's not really about the content, and that's a problem. Like
yeah,
it's one of the things that I've noticed. Yeah.
yeah, that is true. That is true. Like
Yeah.
for me personally, yeah, I think it's important to get
Yeah.
to a point where we can go directly to an immigration firm and like, okay, henceforth we're going to bring you people, and
Yeah.
the only benefit we want is give them a discounted rate, or
Yeah.
at least spread it out for them long enough for them to be able to comfortable to be able
Yeah.
to pay off whatever they owe you. So
Yeah.
that is the goal, and then the ultimate goal, and I know definitely we'll get there. Where
Yeah.
we would have
Yeah. Sure.
enough influence and enough,
Yeah.
opinion in this space. But no,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. And you have so much experience, when it comes to this thing because you have helped so many people, you have talked to so many people and all of that. So if I come to you today that I want to start a process, how can you help me?
Oh yeah, we talk a lot. Like I talk almost every day. I have like it's Calendly. People can
Mm,
schedule time on my
okay.
calendar, and then we
Mm.
just talk. And I almost every week
I'll
I
take
talk
the
to
link and
one.
then put it in in the
Yeah,
description as
I'll
well.
I'll
Yeah,
share with you. Yeah,
yeah.
almost every week I talk to um 4 or 5 people all over
Wow,
the world. All over, like
wow.
I spoke like this morning I spoke to somebody from France.
Mm,
Like last few weeks there was also another person from Dubai. There's Saudi Arabia. There's even like UK, Canada,
mm,
and yeah, Canada. Canada was just like about 2 days ago. So I talk to
wow.
people all over. How can I help you?
Yeah,
I mean, I can only help you when you give me the information that I need.
mm,
Basically, you are reaching out because you want to use this route. Okay, let's talk
exactly.
about what you have. And I am not an immigration attorney, and I don't claim to be one. I try to advise you based on my experience and the
Mm,
exposure. But
yeah,
like I said, anybody I talk to, I'll tell you go and confirm with an immigration attorney. I
mm,
can tell you you qualify, an immigration attorney can say otherwise. I can tell you you don't qualify,
wow.
immigration attorney will tell you otherwise. But
Mm,
based on my experience, when I tell you you qualify,
yeah, there's a
majority of
good
the time
chance.
when they go, it's like, yep, you have a good case, let's go with you. So
Wow.
that is a service I provide.
Uh,
And I also project manage. If you want to do it by yourself, I have enough experience, or even though I didn't do it by myself, I have enough deep understanding of the process. I have a lot of templates that I can manage you to be able to do it by yourself. Because most times what I realize is as students, we are so busy. You need somebody to put you on the check. Like, okay, we have a course outline, or we have like process and steps. We follow due diligently, and we'll give ourselves like about 2-3 months to put a petition together. I will not do the job for you. I'll provide you with the resources. You do the job. I'll review your case, go through iterations, and make sure it is good, and then we can finally submit. So I do that as well for people, just managing you. And one thing I just recently started is also coaching people once they come to the US as new students. Because, like I said, don't wait to finish school before you think about this process.
That's true. Yeah.
If you need any help trying to understand the step by step or that kind of conscious steps to take to be able to get yourself prepared and ready when you finish school, I also offer that kind of service, mentoring and coaching you just for about 2-3 months, just making sure you are on the path to success once you're done with school.
That's amazing. And you have a new job, and that is one of the things. That is one of the things that come with having your green card. Like that flexibility. You can switch whenever you want. And whenever you see a good opportunity, you can always go there. That kind of thing. So, do you want to tell me about your job?
Oh, my new job. Yeah, I was a consultant at Deloitte. Deloitte is one of the biggest consulting firms in the world.
Everyone knows that.
Let me try and brag small.
Of course, yes, you deserve it. You have to. You've worked hard for it.
I know. Yeah, I'm moving to one of the largest biotechnology companies. Fisher. I'm excited about this new opportunity.
Wow, congratulations. Congrats.
Thank you. It's something I've been looking forward to, change environment. And then see what is out there. So it's all good. And I think I always tell people it always works out if you're an international student. Things look frustrating when you come. I always tell people to put in the work and take the necessary actions and always seek guidance and counseling and mentorship. And it always works out. So keep it up, do what you're doing. Just be very proactive and very intentional about anything you do here in the US.
Rich, thanks so much. Like, you have no idea. Like, I've learned so much, and I'm sure those who watched, this video will really enjoy and learn so much from this. And, I'm hoping that, people will give you the opportunity to be able to share more, because that is what you need. Like, you need that kind of space to be able to, tell us more and all of that. So, Rich, thanks so much. And I wish you the best. I wish your family the best, and all the best in your new job as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for hosting me, and be safe as well.
Yeah, I will. Thanks.